Do you have your driver's license with you today?
There is no driver's license, sir.
Why isn't there a driver's license?
Because I'm not a driver.
You're not a driver?
Yes, I filed that with the clerk's office of Hamilton County. I travel. This is private property. I don't use it for any type of commercial purposes.
But you still have to register your vehicle and have a driver's license if you operate a vehicle.
Not for private property.
You're on the public roadway out there.
The public roadway was made for. I've explained this so many times. The public roads were made for public use.
There's still the rules and the laws and the regulations that we have to abide by.
Right, and as long as they don't take away the rights of the citizen. It's been disputed. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been disputed in court.
But the issue is that in the state of Ohio and anywhere in the United States, you can't make up your own rules and your own laws in order to abide by what you think is right and what you think is just. Everybody else has to do it.
It's not.
I can't have you out here driving a car with no license and no plates on it. You with me?
Well, it's not made up. It's not made up, sir.
But it's something that you believe that not very many people are on the same path with. And I understand what you're trying to tell me.
Right, yes, sir.
I'm not arguing with you, but you still got to follow the laws of the state of Ohio. And there's nothing you can do to argue that point.
Well,
do you have any identification with you whatsoever?
Yes, I do. Well,
do you have like a state ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you have that with you? Can I see that?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
I can reach for it. It's in my back pocket.
Go ahead, man. You're fine.
All right, appreciate it. I have a title proving that the vehicle is mine.
That's awesome. If you got that, can I take a look at that?
Sure.
That might be helpful just to...
Sure.
Can you run ID, please? You still on Clevernook, Tony?
I do. 7823.
Perfect. Robert Zebra 907080. Robert Zebra 907080. Perfect. Well, let me ask you this. What's preventing you from getting license plates on the car?
Well, actually, I don't want to enter into a contract with the state.
Black 31, misdemeanor, felony, and traffic history. Okay, I'm clear. Well, let me ask you this. I understand you don't want to enter into a contract with the state, and I know what you mean, what you're saying, because we deal with this all the time, but unfortunately, the law is, have you been cited and had your car towed and stuff like this before as a result of not having plates on the car?
No, actually, this is my first time.
Really?
This is my first stop since April 30th.
Well, the state of Ohio requires that you have a driver's license where you actually pass a test, go to do that, renew it. You pay to have your license plate said the vehicle's legally registered. That's something that's been in effect long before I came along. All right? For years and years and years and years. Long before you were born, long before I was born. All right? And for anybody to be able to legally operate a vehicle in the state of Ohio, they have to have legal registration for the vehicle. All right? And anybody operate a vehicle of any kind, whether it's a different state, this state, they have to have a valid driver's license. You can't operate a vehicle under this type of it with just an identification card. Okay?
Do you know that was actually made up for commercial purposes?
Well,
when they first came up,
we could talk about this the rest of the night about it.
Yes, sir.
But from my standpoint, and what we got to deal with, and what I'm going with, I think you know where I'm coming from.
Yes, sir. I do.
We're not trying to argue. We're not trying to bigger. I understand what you're trying to tell me.
Yes, sir.
That I get mad about taxes and stuff too. That I have to pay things that I.
Well, I pay taxes. I pay taxes.
If I have to register my vehicle, just like everybody else has to register it, just like you have to register it, that's where we're at.
Well, when you find out that you actually.
Good. I'm fine.
Well, Sarge, when you find out that you really don't, and that was actually created for a purpose, but just. The example that I get, I'm sorry, real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
If the biggest example is if, like your shoes. You bought your shoes, right? That's your personal property. But if somebody told you that, hey, well, wait a minute, we created the sidewalks, and you got shoes, so you have to pay us in order to use your shoes on our sidewalks that we created. Just imagine everybody who's got shoes, they're going to have to come in and get some type of thing, even with bikes. Bikes would be the same thing, but that's just something that they stipulated with motor vehicles, but it was only dealing with commercial use because the roads were made for public use. But if you're making money on their roads, that's where a driver's license, which means you're for hire, you make your money behind the wheel, a driver, like you're an officer.
Well, I get that when you talk about it that way. However,
yes, sir.
The state of Ohio has specific laws related to driving any vehicle, any kind, whether it's for personal use, private use, money use, whatever you want to call it, however you want to put it out there, it has to legally be registered, okay?
Okay.
That's why they call them personal license plates versus commercial
plates.
Commercial plates, truck tags, things of that nature, library vehicles, all that kind of stuff.
Well, actually, they're the same thing. You see, it's got a stamp, which means I've been to the bureau.
Right.
It's the same thing. They tried to give me the same thing.
Right. but you don't have plates on it and you don't have a license. That's never a good thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So
here's what I'm going to do, all right?
Okay.
I'll let you know what I'm going to do. Because I have to follow what the state of Ohio says.
Okay.
All right? I have to give you a citation. All right? I have
Right.
to tow your vehicle because it's not legally registered. And until you get it legally registered, we're not going to be able to release it or do whatever. You have this right here,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have license,
Mm-hmm.
legal registration, insurance, that's all you need to operate a vehicle in the state of Ohio. And I understand if you want to go to court and make that presentation to a judge, the only thing I get to do is enforce the laws of the state of Ohio says. All right? So you're a great guy. I like you. We're getting along good here. But unfortunately, the laws are what the laws are. All right? Everybody has to register their car. Everybody has to drive with a license. Everybody has to have insurance. You with me?
Okay. Well, with towing a vehicle, that would be a seizure of private property, correct?
It's something you can get back once you get the proper registration.
Well, there's still laws regarding that, right?
The law says that I have to.
Under a contract. I haven't signed a contract.
Again, whether you think it's a contract or not, that's for me. I can't decide that right here. I read what the state of Ohio laws say. The state of Ohio says that vehicles have to be legally registered. If they're not, they're subject to removal from the streets. They're subject to removal and put in the tow lot until the legal registration is taken care of. People who drive without a license aren't allowed to drive, period. So therefore, I'm allowed to tow the vehicle as well. All right? No, it's not the worst thing in the world, but all you got to do is just get plates, just like everybody else does, man. I know it sounds a lot more simple than probably what I'm presenting or what you might think it to be, but that's all it is. So do me a favor. I'm going to have you slide out here for me real quick while we figure all this stuff out and get all this taken care of, because I can't leave you sitting here behind the car without a license.
Okay, would I be able to tow it? Would I be able to tow it myself before you deprive me of private property?
Because all that's going to do is, and the reason that I'm towing the car is because it's not legally registered. In order for me to show that I've done my job, what the state of Ohio requires, you're going to have to get legal registration so that you can prove it. If you come to court and say, look, here's why I didn't do what I did, but I went and got legal registration, I have it now, they're going to work stuff out. That doesn't take away from you being able to have to pay fines or get the car out of the tow lot or anything like that, or have to deal with the ticket.
Well, would it be would it be a court seizure? Like, I have to go to court in order to get it back?
No, you'll be able to get the car back tomorrow if you go get legal plates for it, or if you get your own private tow truck to get it out of our tow lot.
Here, let me.
But here, I'll tell you what. Slide out here for me real quick, okay? And all you're gonna do is just hang out with me. If you want to bring your phone, you can bring your phone with you. Right?
Okay.
And again, like I said, not the worst thing in the world. Just leave.
It's actually very bad. It's very bad.
What's bad?
It's very bad that I lose my private property right now because.
Well, I understand that nobody wants to lose their stuff, but you have the opportunity to get it back based on what I'm telling you. I can't leave it here and then you decide that you're just going to come back and drive it or do anything else. All right? Our policy prevents that. The state of Ohio prevents that. Okay?
Well,
the vehicle's not legally registered to be out here anyway.
Well, when
if you had it sitting on your private property, then we couldn't come over and tow it or do anything. But because you're out here on public roadways in a public place that's used for public travel, Kroger, the roadway.
That document explains
I'm
that.
with you, man.
Property and rights are one and the same.
This document isn't. It's not. The state of Ohio doesn't agree with this document. You can register it with them, but they don't agree with the document. That's what you're going to have to go to court. I'm going to let you have that back because I want you to keep it.
Okay.
All right? Like I said. And then I want you to have this back, too. So if you decide that you're going to go to the state of Ohio, to the BMV, the License Bureau, and get license plates, all you got to do is bring your title. You show them that you got it. You bring your insurance. You get your license plates. You're good to go. You can get a 30-day tag if you chose to do that.
Well, I have 30-day tags. I have 30-day tags.
In order to get the car, you have to do it. So once a 30-day tag expires, then you got to get regular tag just like everybody else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was actually denied.
I'm going to hang on this so I can, for the ticket purpose. I'm going to give it back to you, though. I just want to hang on this because it has the VIN number. I can make sure of a few things.
Okay.
So slide out here for me real quick.
You mind if I sit here? I just feel safer.
Well, then I'll tell you what. I get you. Give me the keys so that way you can't drive away.
Well,
that's the only.
Okay.
I want the key to the car so that way you don't drive away, and I'll let you hang tight.
Okay, I'll step out.
Well, I'm still going to take the key anyway, because if we tow it, when we tow it, I need the key for the ignition so that way we don't cause any damage or anything like that to it.
That's been up to me, and I would choose to keep my key. I mean, they can tow it just the same way. I mean, either way, if you're going to deprive me of private property, that's fine. You can go and tow it.
I'm going to take your key for purposes of maintaining the quality of your vehicle so that way we have the ability to do what we have to do so the tow driver doesn't have to tow it or have to drag it, cause any problems or anything like that.
Oh, it's fine. It's a four-wheel drive vehicle.
again, we're going to hang on to the key. You got to be on the same page with me here.
All
It's
right.
one key.
I can show you a video. I mean, last time it was told, it's fine.
I'm sure you can show me all kinds of videos, but I don't want to. We could sit here and argue about it the whole time. It's a lot easier if you just say, "Here's the key." You get the key back.
I've heard that
and that's
before.
it.
I mean, I don't have to. They have.
Well, I'm telling you that you have to
been told-
based on what our rules are, our policy is, and everything else. And then you can fight that in court, so we don't have to argue about it here. But slide out here with me real quick, all right? Real quick, I just want to pat you down, make sure you don't have any knives, guns, bazookas, anything. Turn around that way for me real quick. There you go. Nothing that's going to hurt me, stick me, poke me?
Nope.
Good deal. I appreciate it.
That's
What you
charger.
got
Charger.
Charger?
Yeah.
Is that a dice?
Plug into the wall and a dice. Yeah.
Dice? Gotcha, perfect.
Yep.
Wallet.
Wallet.
All right, man, we're good. Come on back here with me, all right? All you're going to do is sit back here in the car with me for a minute or two. I'm going to get the tow truck. I'm going to get the citation.
I don't want to sit in there.
Well, you
I
have
really
to.
don't.
You have to. I'm not trying to make it hard on you.
It's
You sit with me while I do what I got to do, and then we're over and done
well,
with.
sir,
it,
it's
all right?
already a custodial arrest. The only reason that you would keep me from being able to move out on my own, that would be an actual physical arrest.
Now you're trying to make it a little bit more difficult than what it is too.
I mean, exactly.
All it is you sitting with me till I figure out everything I need to figure out about your license, non-license, and your car. So until then, once you're done, all you're going to get is a ticket based on what I kind of know right now. If that's the case, I'll let you out of the car in a matter of a few moments. But you're still going to have to give me that key based on me towing this car, just so you understand, so we can kind of be on that same page, all right?
What am I doing wrong?
Where you working, Tony? You work anywhere?
Yes.
Where you work?
Michael J. Auto Sales.
The same place where you got the car?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Well, it's not gonna help me if it's in Cleves and I can't get to work.
Well, that is an important factor in order to be able to drive to and from work.
So, I mean, losing personal property, it actually takes more penalty than just, okay, well, we just don't want you to drive it right now because of this. That's saying you can't get to work. That's saying you can't get your kids to the doctor. You can't convey private business because we're depriving you of this.
I'm telling you that you have to legally register the vehicle in order to operate on the state of Ohio, on any Ohio street.
Well, it's been declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court.
I don't think it has been. I don't know who told you that. If
Well,
they have, I don't think that it has been. I'm sure it hasn't been. Maybe based on that, if that's what you're saying, then so be it. But
well, yeah, rights and property are one and the same thing by the Honorable Judge Louis Brandeis, the United States Supreme Court. So with rights,
who is that? The judge who?
Justice Louis Brandeis
Okay.
of the United States Supreme Court. And it says, further, the right of travel by private conveyance for private purposes upon the common way cannot be infringed. That's 394 U.S. 618. So that's a higher up case. That's not on a local or state level. No license or permission is required for travel when travel is not for the purpose of commercial profit or gain.
Hey, Base. If I give you this VIN number, it comes back as a towed vehicle through Dayton PD. I'll send you the VIN number. You can run it.
Oh, and also invoking a right cannot be converted into a crime.
You're invoking what?
I'm invoking my right to travel. It can't be converted into a crime.
It's a citable offense. It is a crime.
It's
It's
citable.
a traffic crime. It's a
Traffic crime.
It's a traffic offense.
Traffic
It's
offense.
not a criminal offense. It's a travel offense. So yes, there is a criminal aspect to it from the standpoint of being cited, the type of because you're breaking the law. However, you can't invoke a right to it not being a crime, especially when I've already told you that it is a crime, because the state of Ohio requires that anybody out here driving has to operate with a driver's license, a valid state of Ohio or other state license, and they have to operate the vehicle with valid plates as well, legally registered through a state or through the state of Ohio or anything along those lines. Plus, this vehicle comes back listed as a towed vehicle through Dayton.
Dayton.
Right. So whoever had this car once before has done. The Dayton Police Department didn't take this car out of from being a towed vehicle. So
they did not take it out.
No, they did not. So at some point in time, Dayton towed this car, and somehow it's been not taken out.
Do you have a date on that?
It's been a while. It was towed back in, if I read this right here, 8/3 of 2015 is what it says.
That's like a week ago.
Yeah. So did you get this car towed, or did the place that owns the car?
No. I've owned this car since March.
You've owned this car since March?
Yes.
Which is what, based on this.
Yes.
So there could be a couple of different things and I'm going to go back up and confirm the VIN number with what's on here to make sure that it matches up.
Roger that.
And that's what I just ran off of this, so. The only thing I can tell you is that what I'm doing today is based on what the state of Ohio, the laws say. All right? And what you can do is when you get your opportunity to go to court, you can go to court and try to explain it to a judge or whatever and see if they agree. If they agree with it, then that's up to them. However, based on the laws in the state of Ohio, this is what I have to do.
Are you a public servant?
In the aspect of what?
Your commission.
I provide public service, yes.
You provide public service, so you're a public servant.
I provide public service
Right.
as a commissioned police officer through the state of Ohio.
Right. Do you understand the definition of a crime?
I do understand the definition of a crime.
Okay.
Make sure that VIN matches up with what's on there.
The payment for a privilege requires a benefit to be received as the right to travel. Is already secured. It is clearly unlawful to cite any charges without direct damage to the specific party.
Well, what you're reading on your paper there isn't what the state of Ohio law says. That's the state of Ohio.
The state of Ohio is a sovereign state to where it can govern within itself as long as it does not deprive the citizen of their constitutional rights. Right?
But your constitutional rights are the same as
the right to
everybody
travel.
else's.
Right.
You're right. You have the same. You have the right to travel. However, you have to travel with. Hello. He's got all. I mean, he's got the title and everything here for it. And, they just didn't take it out. Okay. Gotcha. Perfect. All right. Good deal. Thanks. Bye. So the good news is that Dayton forgot to take it out when you picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
So they're taking that out, so you don't have to worry about all that.
Okay.
But just so you know, everybody in the United States is afforded constitutional rights. But your constitutional rights aren't being infringed upon by having you do the same thing that everybody else has to do.
If it's accepted on a broad scale, like I gave you the example about the shoes, then what?
Was he a free traveler?
I am.
Oh, so. They had one of those in Rutgers room the other day. It was hilarious. Rucker maxed him out and gave him jail time for DUS. Wow.
For non-Rucker?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I had a case. I had my last case dismissed in front of Rucker.
You did?
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. All I can do is operate by what the state of Ohio says. And if any judge chooses to say that what I did isn't within the state of Ohio's laws, then that's up to them. But I'm telling you, based on my vast knowledge of the laws, you got to have a license, you got to register your car. You with me?
I'm with you.
I know we're on the same page. I figured we would be. I know you just have your views of it, and then unfortunately, my views don't mesh with yours, and I get that.
The reason I choose not to is for religious purposes.
I understand. And if that's the case, like I said, you can go to court and say what you got to say, but unfortunately, from the standpoint of what I have to do, what the public asked me to do is to enforce these laws. Just make sure. You want anything out of the car before we tow this?
Yes, quite a few things.
Okay. Anything? I'll tell you what. If you give him the key to the car, then he's going to go up there with you and let you do that. And the only reason I ask you for the key to the car is simply because it's a lot easier for us to be able to make sure that nothing happens to do that. I don't want to have to tell you that we're keeping your personal property. You need to keep it with the car simply because it's going to be better for your car. Not because we want to take things away from you.
And the loss will be on my behalf. So I choose the loss. No, I was saying the loss. You said it would be better. I choose to take that risk. I don't want to give up my key to the vehicle.
Okay, that's fine. Then he's going to let you out, and he's going to let you get what you want to get out of there while I finish the citation and stuff, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Then when we're done, since I figured out what type of suspension you are,
Mm-hmm.
you're under here, because you have license suspensions, all right? You have insurance. You have more non-compliance, which is insurance suspensions, because you won't get insurance type of stuff. Let me tell you this. This is something that you could go to jail for, all right? It is a possibility that you could go to jail. I'm choosing